She's all right, she's all right. No, no, fine. All in light, heavy in back. Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Joel Wooten. I'm chairman of the Georgia Ports Authority, and we've got a lot of distinguished guests with us today. We're running on a schedule, so we've got limited time. I'm not going to recognize everyone, but I do want to recognize Chairman Ellis and Mayor Johnson, and some of the others very distinguished guests will be speaking to us in a few minutes. We do want to thank Senator Ossoff and EPA Administrator Regan and their teams for joining us here at the terminal today as we recognize the exciting growth underway in the Peach State. This growth is thanks to the support of our local, state, and federal leaders, our partners, who continue to focus on initiatives which drive investment in our industries and in our infrastructure. I also want to thank our partners, and I'm using that word a lot, but we have a lot of partners. Our partners from the International Longshoremen Association and the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, who work with our Georgia Ports team to ensure that goods move across our terminals safely and efficiently. We are very proud here in Savannah to serve as the third busiest gateway in the country. And that is thanks in part to the support of all of those gathered here, behind me, out front, and all across the terminal. GPA is committed to expanding responsibly. We're in the middle of a $1.8 billion worth of infrastructure projects that are currently underway. These improvements will include both hybrid and electric technology. This will help offset future emissions by approximately 50 to 60%. Now, without further ado, I want to introduce U.S. Senator Jon Ossoff to share some more about his visit here at the port today.
Thank you, Joel. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Joel. Thank you for your leadership of GPA. Thank you for your partnership. I want to thank and commend your whole team for the masterful job that you do administering these vital economic assets, not just for the state of Georgia, not just for the Southeast region, and not just for the United States, but for the whole world. We are here at the third busiest deep water port in the United States. This facility is an engine of economic growth for our state and for the whole country. And I want to thank the ILA and the extraordinary workers who every single day are making this port run, supporting commerce and jobs in coastal Georgia, statewide and across the country. It's a pleasure. Thank you. Give it up for the workers, please, who put in long hours to make all this possible. I want to thank and recognize Mayor Johnson and Chairman Ellis for their hospitality and their partnership, and thank all of you members of the press for coming here to inform the public about the exciting announcement that we're making today. It is such a pleasure to welcome to the state of Georgia EPA Administrator Michael Regan. Michael, thank you so much for your partnership, your leadership, and for choosing to come to Georgia to make this national announcement. An announcement of resources and investment in infrastructure that will help lift us up here in Georgia and lift folks up across the country. I had the pleasure of sitting down for breakfast with the administrator just a few weeks ago, and as always, I was bragging on Georgia. As always, I was telling him about the amazing things that we're doing in Georgia. And Joel, you can rest assured that I was telling him about the amazing progress that we're making at the port here and how vital it is to the country. So, Administrator, to have you here on behalf of the President to announce such a monumental investment in port infrastructure, in commerce, in jobs, and in environmental quality, it means the world to us as Georgians. And please join me in giving a round of applause to Michael for his presence here today. Thank you, Administrator, for coming. For members of the press and to make sure the public knows exactly what's going on, the Administrator is here to make a historic announcement. about federal investments in port upgrades that will enhance commerce and capacity and environmental quality across the country. This is a $4 billion program to upgrade ports nationwide to the latest technology, to improve our capacity to support growth, to reduce air and noise pollution, and to ensure that the continued development and growth of ports like the Port of Savannah ensure environmental quality and public health for local communities. This is a win-win for our economy and for local communities. And so it is a pleasure, Administrator, to have you with us. Thank you so much for coming. And I think the whole community, the whole state's looking forward to what you have to share with us. Thank you.
Well, let me tell you, it's an honor to be here in beautiful Savannah. I want to thank Senator Ossoff for that introduction, but more importantly, I want to thank Senator Ossoff for his partnership and his leadership. And I can assure everyone here today that there is no better advocate for the state of Georgia than Senator Ossoff. He knows how to twist an arm or two. So, Senator, thank you for that partnership. I'd like to also thank the Port Authority's leadership for hosting us here today. I really appreciate the leadership and appreciate the example that you all are setting in terms of the type of partnerships that need to be brought together to lead the world. And that's what's happening here. But equally, if not more important, I want to take an opportunity to thank the workers. The workers and the people are what really make an organization and an institution like this as great as it is. So thank you to the workers behind me and everywhere. You know, when President Biden took office, he launched the most ambitious climate, economic, and environmental agenda in our nation's history. The president vowed to restore America's position as a global leader, fighting against climate change while prioritizing the health, safety, and economic viability for all of our communities in this country. And thanks to the president's leadership and the vice president's leadership, and partners, strong partners in Congress, like Senators Ossoff and Warnock, we're investing in America like we've never seen before, addressing head-on so many of the challenges that have been long-standing and plaguing our communities. One of EPA's top priorities is ensuring that all people in this country, no matter the color of your skin or the zip code that you live in, have clean air to breathe and clean water to drink. But we all know that too many communities who reside near our nation's ports experience unhealthy air quality. These are the same communities who are often on the front lines of the climate crisis. But we are walking and chewing gum at the same time here, because we know that ports are critical for commerce. They're the keystone for economic growth, for bringing back manufacturing, and they play a vital role in our supply chain as well. But we can do more to grow our economy while also tackling pollution that comes with these essential activities. And at EPA, we know that protecting people and the planet does not come at the expense of a booming economy. In fact, healthy communities and a strong economy go hand in hand. And that's exactly what President Biden's historic investments in America are all about, ensuring that communities are healthy while delivering a globally competitive 21st century American economy. And that's what today is all about. As Senator Ossoff has said, today I'm excited to announce that we're investing $4 billion, billion with a B, from President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act to decarbonize our nation's transportation sector, reduce harmful climate pollution, and advance environmental justice. The Clean Ports program will invest $3 billion in technologies that reduce harmful climate pollutants, and the Clean Heavy-Duty Vehicle program will invest $1 billion to help transition heavy-duty trucks and buses to zero-emission vehicles. Both programs will better protect the health of people living and working near ports, schools, and other truck routes while confronting the climate crisis. Together, these programs, made possible by President Biden's Investing in America plan, will restore our nation's infrastructure, create good-paying jobs, and build a clean energy economy that protects both the people and the planet. Stakeholder engagement, like this port is doing, is key to the success of these programs, and we are officially kickstarting the process of seeking input on how we spend and use these billions of dollars. So we invite manufacturers, fleets, ports, municipalities, school districts, utilities, and others who have experience with zero-emission technology to provide feedback to this agency on how we spend these billions of dollars by June 5th, 2023. Earlier today, I had an opportunity to tour the port, and I've seen firsthand what some of these projects are starting to shape up and look like. As a matter of fact, through EPA's Diesel Emission Reduction Act, the Georgia Ports Authority has already been awarded over $9 million in funding to reduce diesel emissions at the port by upgrading and replacing older drayage trucks, cargo handling equipment, and marine engines with new and cleaner models. So we know that this can be done. Not only has the President committed to bolstering our climate resiliency and protecting communities all across our country, but he's committed to doing it through a whole of government approach. That means from the Department of Defense to the Environmental Protection Agency, all federal agencies are rowing in the same direction. By modernizing our infrastructure and expanding our investments in renewable energy, we can accelerate the ongoing transition to clean transportation, tackle the climate crisis, and improve air quality for all of our communities. So together, we'll build a healthier and cleaner future for all of our children, a future where people have clean air to breathe, clean water to drink, and a safe place to live, work, and pray. Thanks to President Biden and this administration, we are investing in America, and we're more optimistic than we've ever been before. So thank you all. Absolutely. We want to grade ourselves and grade the performance and the progress. And so we do have the capability, and we have existing inventories. And I'm sure our partners are doing their fair share to provide the accurate data we need. But as we look at these grant competitions, as we look at the information that we want about the existing technologies, we have to know that the American people's money is being invested in the right technologies and covering the right ground. So absolutely, we're going to grade ourselves. We have the metrics built in, and we're going to electrify our ports, and we're going to clean up our communities. And as Senator Ossoff said, it's a win-win-win. Yes, and I might invite some of our partners to talk about these vehicles, but essentially what you have is a menu of options. We know, and you hear us commonly say we want to electrify our ports, but we're also looking at not only technologies, but utilizing fuel sources, different fuel sources. Some that we hope to be generated by advanced biofuels, supporting and uplifting our agriculture community, but we're also looking at hydrogen and other clean fuels as well. So there's not a silver bullet here. We've got facets coming from every aspect of the economy that's going to help us transition and create jobs for all Americans.
You mentioned $4 billion. How much of that is going towards the Port of Savannah?
Well, right now, we are announcing that we have the $4 billion, and we are issuing a request for information. And so we're collecting data on how we should design and develop these programs. But obviously, we're making this announcement here because we know a port like this is leading not only the country, but leading the world. So we hope that in the design of this program, we will elicit the types of proposals that will help us transition faster than we even imagined.
Let me just add something, if I might, there. Just to your point about how this facility will benefit, I think it says a lot that the administrator has chosen to come to this port to make this announcement about this opportunity. And we will be working hand in hand along with port leadership to craft proposals consistent with Georgia's needs to benefit from this program. Just one other note on hydrogen. Georgia is emerging as the nationally leading state in hydrogen innovation and hydrogen technology, which has many applications in shipping. So watch that space as well.
The mayor just said we want it all. Is that right?
That's right.
We're traveling all across the country, whether it's New Mexico or Arizona, my home state of North Carolina, or Georgia. And I think what we're seeing in a bipartisan fashion on the ground are these Inflation Reduction Act resources going directly to the economy, to our manufacturers, to those who are pushing commerce, to those who are creating jobs. And so what we're going to do is continue to look at what the purposes of the Inflation Reduction Act are, which is investing in America, and we're going to continue to move forward. Congress will obviously have these discussions, but right now we have some resources that we need to spend and some lives we need to protect. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.